our representatives. Rick is going to come up and then introduce our Guidestone people. We're making a different iteration. So part of, as we make the jump, we went with where we could in the midst of a very crazy season. We've had the chance, and Rick Van Giesen is our global representative. He's our global staff person. And Rick has been doing an awesome job. His actual home conference is on a river. And so he's been a part of some of our tribe. And so he brings that skill set and has been helping our movement. And he's actually led this last iteration of conversation about what our insurance and everything is. And I know some of you have been wondering, and we just not have had the information. It's been slowly rolling out. But we have a lot more information. And so they're going to do about a 25-minute presentation and push to conversation out in the lobby. But we know this is an important aspect of being clergy in the season as we move into our new expression and new relationship. So Rick, we're glad to have you here, and we're great to have the Guidestone representatives.
Thank you, Scott.
Welcome.
I kind of feel like every presentation that I give needs to start with "I'm sorry."
You're forgiven.
You're a very patient, forgiving, and understanding group, and I thank you for that. Like Scott said, this is a general presentation, and we want to have individual conversations with you at our table out in the hallway, and have some of those already, and we appreciate those. And it's been so good to be able to put a face with many of the names I've seen come across my desk, and it's really good to know you. I just want to introduce now Curtis Farmer, who is the Senior Relationship Development Manager at Guidestone, and then Brian Downey, who's the Manager of Customer Services.
Thanks for having us today. It's been a joy getting to know a lot of you and getting to have great conversations, as Rick said. Question, do you feel a little bit like guinea pigs? Because I say that because this is our very, very first gathering that Guidestone is a part of with Global Methodist Church. You guys are the very first ones. And we'll be back. So you have your annual conference this summer. I won't be able to attend, but there will be Guidestone representatives at your annual conference this summer. But knowing that things are coming out, things are changing. We're going to have some open enrollment time next month for the insurance. We wanted to get out here and get as much information as we could to you that we knew. Some things were approved last week, and we'll talk about that a little bit in my slides, or when we get through my slides here. I jokingly said hot off the press. It's literally hot off the press. I was at FedEx earlier this morning printing some stuff, so that's why you see a little black and white packet out there. Because they want so much in color, I wasn't going to take a home equity loan just to print a 3-page packet for 100 people. So we are going to, we've got some slides, and I got a clicker, I just remembered. So we will see if the clicker works. It works. So again, my name is Curtis Farmer. Brian will introduce himself as far as his background. But I started at Guidestone in January of 2023. So just a little over a year ago. Prior to that, I ran benefits for another church denomination called the Christian and Missionary Alliance. If anybody knows anybody from the Alliance, I ran their benefits for 5 years prior coming to Guidestone. So that's my church plan experience. I have a long story of how God got me into church plans that I can tell you. But the short of that is really about aligns with the heart, the mission, and vision of Guidestone, and that's serving those who serve. So when I tell people that I have a ministry calling, my ministry calling is serving those who serve in the local churches every day. Brian and I had this conversation. We drove down from Chicago together. We both flew to Chicago and drove down together. And I was telling him a little bit about my story, that I had a ministry calling on my life as a teenager that I didn't know what it meant, and I had to work through that throughout my life as far as knowing that I wasn't called to preach from a pulpit, but I didn't know what it meant until I discovered church benefits work and how I could support those who serve. And so that's really why I'm at Guidestone and why, and I can tell you that those missions line up, that value lines up. So we'll talk a little bit about Guidestone. If you've never heard of Guidestone, you say, oh, those Southern Baptist guys. That's okay. I'm a Nazarene. They hired me. So I'm actually, what's interesting about my role is I work with every denomination, I think almost except the Southern Baptist, that aligns with the same values and beliefs and values around family and life and things like that. So we're founded in 1918 by the Southern Baptist. The Sunday School Board of the Southern Baptist Convention founded Guidestone, and the guy who led the charge, whose name escapes me, Brian can probably remember it. Do you remember his name? What's that? Lindquist? Yes. He was seeing soldiers coming back from the war, and he thought, what about the old soldiers of the cross? Nobody's taking care of them. Everybody's taking care of these soldiers coming back from war. What about the old soldiers of the cross? And he got $100,000 from a guy by the last name of Rockefeller. And they started the pension fund back in 1918. So that's the history of Guidestone a little bit. And you can see our mission and vision. The mission of Guidestone, we enhance financial security, so think retirement, and resilience, think the health plan, medical plans, for those who serve the Lord. Again, aligning with what I talked about, serving those who serve the Lord. And the vision is that every servant of Christ finishes well. And that's what really the vision of Guidestone is. If you want to know a little bit about the heart of Guidestone, this is something I always share in these presentations is, we're not a profit center. We're not here to make money. When we rate a health plan, for instance, there's just a tiny bit of margin in there to cover what we expect from medical claims and the expenses to run our office. And when we have overages of any kind, those funds are used in something called Mission Dignity. And we actually have a program that pays for, it's in the Southern Baptist world, but it pays for those pastors that are below the poverty line to get them above that level, to provide extra retirement income. And so that's the heart of Guidestone, is to, again, serve those who serve. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time on that, because a lot of you are thinking, who's Guidestone, and why do they care, and why should we trust them? And so I want you to understand and feel the heart of Guidestone. So let's talk a little bit about the medical plans. And I apologize, I don't have my slides. Oh, I got it up there. So if I can read that. I got 49-year-old eyes, so we'll see. The Guidestone, you can think of it in kind of 4 different ways, and that is really, I'll start to the right. We want you to have kingdom class service and experience. We don't want you to be any drop off of the type of service that you're used to or would desire. And so we have, Brian actually runs the call center on the retirement plan side. He's the manager of that. We have a call center on the insurance side, and we staff that. We have experts. We have folks who are there to serve, and then we'll also be working in partnership with Rick's office and the 2 staff members in his office that can answer questions for your church point person about bills and things like that. So there's the service aspect. There's also the broad coverage. We're going to talk about some of the value-added benefits that you get with Guidestone. It's not just the medical coverage, but there's some ancillary things that come with that that are really powerful and really helpful for you in your wellness journey. And then on the left there, we want to be a trusted ministry partner. This is a church plan, and we understand churches. We've been doing this, like I said, since 1918 on the retirement side, much more recently on the health side, but we understand the church world, the church plan world. And then biblically aligned benefits, value-aligned solutions. Your health care, you can rest assured knowing that none of your health care dollars pay for abortion or abortive drugs. They don't pay for gender reassignment surgeries. None of those things are all, you can apply. Those things, because we are a church plan, those things are carved out. And so we don't cover those. And those dollars, Not to get in the weeds, but it's part of what's called a self-funded plan. So all those dollars are with us, and they're not going to insure other people who would have those things covered, if that makes sense. So, a lot of people have asked about, what about my providers? Can I still go to the same doctor? Well, here's the good news. Most of your providers, even though you're moving from West Path to Guidestone, most of those are actually staying the same. The one that's changing is the pharmacy. We work with a company called Highmark that we rent this Blue Cross Blue Shield network. So when I say a church plan, this isn't MediShare or sharing plan or anything like that. Nothing against those types of plans. This is going to look, feel, act, smell, taste, everything just like insurance. You're going to get a Blue Cross Blue Shield card. It's going to look very similar to what you had at West Path, and you're going to have that same Blue Cross Blue Shield network. That's a national network. Cigna on the dental side, so you're still the same dental network. The vision side is well. Unum for the life insurance. That's all staying the same. The difference is going to be the Express Scripts is our pharmacy provider. It's going to work very similar to how you had with Optum. You're going to be able to log into an Express Scripts app to manage that, have a login. You're going to be able to do mail order. You're going to be able to use network pharmacies and all that. They're one of the largest pharmacy benefit managers around. We are working, I don't have details to it now, but we're working on transfers of prescriptions. We're working through all that, and there's more information on that to come. So we'll do our best to make that as seamless as possible transition. And the quantum health, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to skip over that when I get to my last slide. I'll spend some time on that. I mentioned this already. The Blue Cross Blue Shield network. 1 in 3 Americans is on the Blue Cross Blue Shield network. It's an expansive list of doctors, but you're used to that network, so that's not going to be any surprise to you. But we will provide you with those ID cards. It's also going to have the information for Quantum. Again, I'll talk about that in a second. It's your case navigator. So you're going to have one card that's got all of your information right there on it that will come probably in June is when you'll start to see those cards arriving in your mailbox. So, Express Scripts. So let's talk a little bit about Express Scripts since it's new. I'm going to turn around, so I apologize for putting my back to you, but that way I'll stay on my bullets here. As I mentioned, you have access to thousands of different retail outlets, but you can do mail order and home delivery. You get 90-day prescriptions basically for the same cost of a 30-day prescription in most cases, and you've got the app to be able to refill and price out medications and view your claims and those kind of things. And then I got one more slide here. This is kind of talks a little bit about some of the different things that we do. When I talk about advocates and nurse, I'm not going to go through all of these, but nurse navigators. So I mentioned Quantum Health. I'm going to use them, and the best way I can describe them is to use them as an example. They're a concierge service that comes free with your care. I had a shoulder issue and had to get an MRI done, and that has to be pre-approved, right? That's how they always go through that approval process. And I hadn't heard from my doctor, and I called my doctor, and he says, Highmark hasn't approved it yet, this, that. I said, I think that they have. And I was kind of going back and forth. I thought, why am I doing this? This is why I have the concierge people. And I called them, and they said, we'll take care of it. And 5 minutes later, my doctor texts me, we need to make an appointment for your MRI. So, they just kind of greased the wheels a little bit there. But they even, the other end of that, the more extreme version of that is I've heard stories of them helping work with organizations in the community to help someone who was newly in a wheelchair figure out somebody in the community that could build them a ramp. I mean, this goes beyond just normal care stuff. So that's Quantum. They have nurses on staff, pharmacists on staff that can help answer questions about medication, all of those kind of things. So you've got advocates. You've also got, we also have additional ancillary benefits like telemedicine that's going to be free for you to use, even on a high deductible plan, because they allow that still in 2024. that's what you're in, right? 24. You're going to have access to a virtual physical therapy. If I needed physical therapy on that shoulder, I could do it with an iPad and some different things at home, so I didn't have to go to physical therapy. That's also free and available to you. We have diabetes care that's an add-on that's free. So all these different additional services in addition to the regular medical care. The last thing I want to say before I hand over, because my half is up, I'm going to hand this over to Brian to talk about retirement stuff. But we have a packet in the back, as I mentioned, hot off the presses. It's the black and white one. So even if you came by the booth early this morning and didn't see that, it's a 3-page packet. And it has the plans and it's got rates in there. We have 4 plan designs. We've narrowed it down to 4. And we can talk to you about, if you know which plan you're on, what might be the comparable one. But we plan the first the 2 plans on each page, and then the rates on the final page. So the first page has the 2 plans with copays. So if you're used to, like, if you're on the B1000 plan, or the others, is it a 4000 plan? The other copay plan, I think it is. Yeah, these are going to be a little more comparable to those. The second page is going to be the high deductible plans. And then the third page is the rates. And what I can tell you about the high deductible plans, it's a little different than you're used to. As before, if you follow me, you had those tier of which ones, how much your HSA contribution was depending on which plan you picked. Everybody gets the full amount. So under the new system. So everybody gets that 1,000 individual, 2,000 family HSA contribution under the HSA plans. And then that third page is going to have the rates in there, and the rates that you see are including those HSA contributions. Does everybody follow me, or am I speaking Greek? Is that good? Okay. If you have individual questions, please come to the booth and we'll talk to you, but we don't want to belay here. So I'm going to pass this on to Brian.
Are those monthly rates?
What's that again?
Are those monthly rates?
Yes, monthly rates in the chart. Yeah, and you'll see how much is the church contribution and how much is the pastor contribution, your share. And if it's a negative number, and it used to be that you had to put that towards dental and vision, now you'll have the option. So if you get a little money back on the premium, it can go into your HSA or it can go towards your dental or vision. It's your choice. So I have one hand in the back. I'm going to break the rule and take a question.
How about deductibles? Do they start over at July 1?
Oh, that's a great question. No, your deductibles carry over. So we have deductible carryover. We will, you get credit for that, deductible credit. Yes. Yep.
All right, thank you so much, Curtis. As Curtis mentioned, my name is Brian Downey. I work on the retirement side. So Curtis, yes, that was Greek to me. Okay. It seems that you caught all of that better than I did. It's really just an honor to be with you here today, and just loved getting to meet those that have come by our booth. Please stop by if you have time. We're not here trying to sell you something, we're here to serve. Within the department where I work at Guidestone, Retirement Customer Solutions, our department mission statement is to provide superior customer service. And so if you were to call into Guidestone with a retirement question, you're probably going to be speaking to someone on my team. That call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're there to serve you. We probably have about 30 specialists, highly trained specialists that are there to help you with all of your needs. A number of them are bivocational pastors, and we have some that are retired pastors or have stepped out of ministry for a while. We've just got a great team there that are ready to serve you. I want to apologize because please be prepared. They may ask you, can I pray with you about anything? Okay? So our team addresses and approaches their work as a ministry. So they will want to pray for you. So if you call in, feel free to share with them if there is a prayer need. Okay, so anyhow, again, it's an honor to be with you here. I want to just talk briefly about the retirement plan. And there will be more specifics available to you there's going to be a couple of QR codes that I'm going to point out that you can grab those, and those will take you directly to some resources that we have on our website. I don't have enough time to go through those all now, but I do want to say this first of all. We understand that your retirement is a very individual situation. Not one of you is going to be the same. You're going to have different goals. And you can see some of the goals up there, and that's exactly, we want you to succeed, that you will be able to fulfill your dreams and vision when you get to retirement. That may be a number of years away, that might be a few years away, we understand that. So to get to that point, and this probably is not rocket science, it may not be new to you at all, but most financial planners would recommend that you would shoot for establishing 70% as a minimum of your last year's earned income before you retire in retirement to maintain the same standard of living that you're experiencing while in ministry. So our goal is to get you to that, so we can quantify, well, what would that number look like, and then how do we get there, okay? Again, most financial planners, Guidestone included, we would recommend that you would be saving 15% of your salary towards your retirement plan. You may be already doing that now. You may be thinking, there is no way that I'm going to get there. Well, we have tailored this that the Global Methodist Church will be contributing 5%. And then there's a matching up to 5%. So ideally, if you can contribute 5%, take advantage of the matching, don't leave that money on the table, right? And then the employer contribution coming from Global Methodist, there's your 15% right there, okay? That's not cookie cutter. You can do more than that. You may take some time to build up to that. Some of our members, they will increase their contributions 1% a year gradually, because it may not be possible to do that all at once. We recognize that. It's an individual situation. Okay, so the 403B, I think that's going to be a familiar term to you, similar to a 401k in the for-profit world. 403B is for the non-profit world, and this is going to be a defined contribution plan that you'll be participating in. The contributions will be employee-based, which coming out of your salary, excuse me, and those can be either tax-sheltered, so before tax, or they can be Roth, after-tax contributions. And then the employer contributions as well that we discussed, the matching and then the non-matching. As well, you'll have the option of rolling in other retirement plans to your Guidestone plan. And that can either be, well, your funds that you have contributed while under Global Methodist will come in automatically after July 1st. And then you'll have the option of rolling in your money that's under the United Methodist plan. And we can help you with more information related to that. All right, so you're probably very familiar with this, with special considerations for ministers. Of course, the tax-sheltered contributions, you're reducing your taxable income in the year of contribution. You're deferring taxation, obviously, on those contributions and earnings until you withdraw them, unless they're housing allowance designated. Of course, contributions are exempted from SECA tax. And then I'm sure most of you are aware that you're eligible for housing allowance in retirement to exclude that amount from your taxable retirement income. Okay, finding the right investment approach. We've got three approaches that we use. Based on either time horizon, how long until retirement, risk tolerance. I've talked to quite a number of you, and I'm really amazed that there really is a high risk tolerance in this crowd. So that's not a recommendation, okay? But I just, I'm really impressed with that. I was sharing with somebody that we have conservative funds, and we have 27 funds for you to choose from. Okay, and we have funds ranging, the money market fund that's actually doing great, like 5% a year. Probably one of our highest earning funds our growth equity fund, and again, this is one of 27 funds. This is not a recommendation, but the growth equity fund has yielded, I mean, it's unbelievable, 38.75% in the last year. Okay, so, but again, please, that's not a recommendation, but for those of you that stop by, you might want to look at that fund online, see if you're interested in it. That's not a guarantee of future performance. I think we all know that, okay? And then you may have individual investment goals for family, for giving, charitable giving, things like that. We have wealth advisors that are happy to work with you. Regarding the timeline, I think you call them life stage funds, okay? So we call them target date funds. And so if you want us to do it for you, some of you, it's like, you invest it, give me a good return, I don't want to go over aggressive. We have target date funds, which are blended funds with fixed income bonds, cash equivalents, and equity stocks. And then what happens is we automatically adjust that. You can see the age groups there. You go from more aggressive in your early years to more conservative then as you approach retirement, which is, you know, the normal path that you want to be on. If you want to stay static, you can choose one of our target risk funds. That's not adjusted automatically for you. You may want to make the decision, okay, do I want to go aggressive? Do I want to gradually decrease my risk exposure? And that's up to you. Okay, but these are funds that are made up of many of our funds, and you can just invest in one of these target date or target risk funds. But again, that's just if you want us to do the investing for you. If you want to do the investing, you can see this is just a sample of equities and fixed income of our stocks. I guess those are Lego building blocks. I never could quite figure that out. But, so you can build your own plan there. We're happy to help you with that. I mentioned we've got our customer solutions department if you were to call in, want to discuss any of the funds. Once you are enrolled, we have a team of financial educators that are happy to meet with you. You can schedule an appointment with them, like a 30-minute appointment, do some in-depth analysis, get some recommendations, and so that's also available to you. If you would like advisory services, there's some options there. There's an email address there if you want to grab a shot of that, or I can get you that email address. Actually, sorry, it's not an email address, it's a website address. So specifically for wealth management, if you want a professional advisor, depending on your account balance, there's going to be some extra fees with that, nominal, but there are extra fees. But if you wanted your own dedicated advisor, that's also a possibility with us. All right, we've got some technology here that we love on our main website. There's a login there. We call it your My Guidestone account. Okay? There's an app that you can download. There's a desktop version if you want to track your account balance every day, like I do. About 7:30 p.m. every night, that's when the account balances are updated. Markets close, we know, at 3 p.m. Central Time. And then by the next morning, your annual year-to-date performance is updated. You can see all of your funds, past transactions, any tax documents are available there. You're able to upload documents through the app that you want to send to us securely, things like that. So we've got some pretty robust technology to support you as well. Your quarterly statements usually are going to be posted within your My Guidestone app within a couple of days after the end of each quarter. Okay? So the My Guidestone account, we're excited about it. We actually just did an update on the app, and so that just came out actually last week, I think. So we're excited about the new look of that. Okay, there's a QR code. I mentioned that to you if you wanted to grab that. We've got a great resource center on our website, and you can see there some of the topics: tax issues, salary benefits, Social Security, housing allowance, and you're welcome to go there. That's focused directly towards clergy. We've got a ministerial tax guide that we publish and update every year, and that's a great resource that we would direct you to as well there. If you don't grab that QR code, we'll have it at the booth if you want to stop by there, that's fine. All right, I want to just talk to you about next steps. I think the majority of you have received an email from us. It came out either yesterday or today. What we want to do is make sure we've got your correct church information, address, and then we want to know who the primary administrative contact is for your church. And the goal is that we would get a response back. There's a DocuSign form that we're going to ask that you would update and send back to us. Just follow the instructions there in the email. Ideally, if we could get those back by April 15th, they're asking. Okay? If you did not receive that form and you're wondering what is he talking about, go ahead and give us an email. Do you see that email address in the bottom left-hand corner? gmchurch@guidestone.org. That is a dedicated email address just for you guys. gmchurch@guidestone.org. As well, you can see there on the bottom right, there's another QR code, and we're calling that a landing page for the Global Methodist Church. And so, but if you have any questions as well on this, stop by the table. We'd be happy to help you. And there's that same QR code. That's for the landing page as well. If you wanted to go direct to that, it's guidestone.org/GMchurch. Okay? All right, so we covered a lot. I understand that. I would just welcome you to look at our website, go to the landing page, look at our ministerial resources. We want you to get to know us more. We want to get to know you more. And so we're excited to be here. You probably still have a lot of questions, I know, but they will be answered, and then you can email us with any specific questions or stop by the table. All right? That's all I have. So thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.